Okay, over a 5-minute game on Chess Cube. We've got a rare occurrence against Matthew. Bit of training for Sunday. Okay. Sicilian, French. I'll play French. Play with 96. So, what happens now? Juve's waiting move, bishop d7. Over? Over, Juve, over. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I'm just undermining at the head of the pawn chain, so the head of the pawn chain. Right. Looks a bit passive actually for me here. Right. So, what does white do now? Overprotect e5 or take, give me a bit of dynamism on the f file. Okay, so bishop d6 looks like a normal French defense. Right, so knight e4 coming up, knight g4, rook a8. Isn't there a cautionary plan? Just get the queen back to g7. Okay, so actually this changes it. What about knight a5? Yeah, okay for c4. Knight e7 to f5 though. What about that? Knight e7 to f5. Okay, so knight f5 coming up. I think a5 to stop this a5 business from white. I get knight f5, knight e4. Ah, okay. I'll keep the queen on a7, just lying this diagonal. So f file, f2, knight e4 to knight f5. Okay, so my dark squares. I just take knight f5, maybe. So knight e4 to c3 now look pretty powerful. Bishop b5 looks interesting. Bishop b5. What about bishop e8? Bishop e8, bishop b5. Interesting. Bishop e8, bishop e5. Takes. Any advantage? c4 might be highlighted. Bishop's not so passive, I'll do that. Bishop e5. It's kind of thematic usually to get rid of the light square bishops anyway. But here I'm just giving white past a pawn. I'm still on d4. So there might be knight c3, knight d4 takes, knight e2 check at the end of that. So I'm winning d4 here. That's pretty good to know. Knight d4. Little cheapo tactic. So queen c3, knight e2. If knight d4, queen d4. If knight d4, queen d4. So f2's on the fire. Okay, queen d4 then. So what's happening here? He's under time pressure here. So what I want to do with that knight, b4, say rook d2, b3, looks good. Just driving this pawn looks good actually. Get it to b3, because the rook's kind of committed to a6. Okay, so there's knight c2. These rooks are kind of tied down. Back row is weak. I'm going to take that because rook b3, rook a1. There's rook a1 here, just simplifying for the pawn. I think just rook c8. Okay. Something like Tarash or Winnower. What about this? Actually, there's a Gambit with knight c3 and knight g2. I could try that. Little Gambit line. Oh, okay. Right, bishop g5 then. Okay. A Gambit here, f3. There's always a quick c5. I think some GM did a Gambit here recently with just f3. Actually, a few months back. f3, c5. What would be the point? Knight e4, queen d4 takes on. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try f3. Okay, so that's the logical move. So knight e4 here. I think the Gambit idea was bishop d3 actually, so just using d4 to shield white for bishop d3. That was a very intriguing idea. Maybe bishop f6 first, and then bishop d3. Mind you, there's f5 coming up. This might not be that hot. Or bishop b4 check. Oh no, c3. So f5 coming up. This doesn't look good actually. This is terrible, isn't it? This pawn on f3. f5. So f5, knight g3. I'm just trying to castle queenside here. There's knight f5 as a threat now. It's bishop b4. Could stop me casting. c3 castles queenside anyway. cb, king b1. Queen moves. Bishop b5 check or knight f5. Maybe that's worth a punt. That seems a lot of fun actually. c3 castle queenside, cb king b1. A lot of fun. Knight f5 is a threat. better than king f1, surely. Castle free of charge then. Oh, there's rook g3, of course. Rook g3 coming up. That's the point. So there's knight h3. I can defend that. Or there's knight. There isn't knight f5. There's bishop f5. Rook g3. There's nothing else to that. There's bishop b5. Bishop d7. There's nothing else to that. So castle. Say rook g3. hg queen h1. Knight h3. Doesn't that just trap the queen? Knight h3 just traps the queen. I can just castle. Rook g3 hg. Queen h1, knight h3, just trapping the queen. Interesting. And there's no bishop h6, there's king b1, the queen's protecting d1. Interesting. So bishop h6, king b1. Mind you, yeah, this queen has got h2. Just realised. h2. Huh. Wow. Okay, so queen f2. Oh, there's trouble. Bishop f5, queen g3. Queen f2. Pardon me. Stomach growl, by the way. So queen f2 on d4. Okay, so this is probably not good. Okay, so we get d4, queen g3, bishop f5, bishop b5 here. How does queen get? I'll try and win the queen. Rook g1, queen e1, then rook. No. Nope. That's queen. Okay, I'll just try and win this d4, I think. Play for rook h4. If I play for rook h4, takes and rook h4. That's. Interesting. So say bishop d7 takes queen d4. Right. So rook d4 here, bishop d4, queen g3. Check on h8, king e7. Okay, that's not doing anything. c3. No, this isn't all I imagined. Wow. c3 though. Just trying to open this D file. Okay, if I take on D4. Oh, I think my back row's weak. Whoa, I'm getting stuffed. Knight d4 is probably winning here because of the back row weakness. Queen h1 is going to be winning. Queen h1. That was queen g1. How about d5? Queen's still trapped. d5. Bishop f1, no, I don't know. d5 coming up. So I'm pieced down here, aren't I? Just a piece down. So rook d4, bishop d4, queen d4, queen h1 is queen g1. So I think I'll go for it. Hopefully there's no back row mate. Get this guy back in the game. Okay, centralise. What about knight b4? Knight to b4. Okay. Okay, this is troublesome. We have to protect f1. Time pressure game now. Oh, it's check here. Interesting. So knight f5 check could be dangerous. 1h4. Okay. b5. 1a4. The king's getting driven back though. Let's stick a bishop on e4. Ooh, driving the king back. Yep. Pre-move. Pre-move time. Yeah, that wasn't the highest quality. Play a dragon, I think. What's that? So dragon nudged off, dragged off variation. So queen c7, b6, bishop b7. So bishop e2, okay. I wish I wasn't captain actually for this event. I prefer being a player and not captain. That goes for real life chess and online. Alright, so bishop b7, try and get the d5 control, rook c8, knight e5 to c4, just celebrate c4 here. It's the logical outpost square for the Sicilian defence. I'm going to get torn to shreds dynamically though. Nope, it's giving me e5, I can't see that's that bad. Unless there's take on f6, take with a pawn, I don't think it's that bad. e5 is nice. I'll take with the pawn. Take with the pawn. Yeah, I'll take the pawn. No, I haven't turned my mic down. I'm just not speaking that loudly. So I just play rook c8 here. Okay. Is this dangerous? The dynamics? The knight on e5 just gives me a lot of inspiration here. So queen c5. Doesn't do anything. Queen c5 doesn't do anything. Actually, I don't know what plan I've got here. Actually, a6 is vulnerable. I'll play queen c5 anyway. Knight b3. Say there's queen c2. I'll play queen c5 anyway. Does do something. I don't know, a bit of pressure. So here's the question: knight c4, a5. What about just a5? Let white take b5 for the knight. Does it matter? What's the key thing here? How about knight c4? Just trying to sort of, I don't know. Actually, I've got no target here. I can just move that back and think about that position again. I'll move it back. Oh, it's got to protect g6 anyway. Okay, so this huge bishop on d5 is a problem. It looks a bit lost actually. What about f5? Just trying to undermine the bishop. I'll probably get mated. Knight f5 or rook f5. So yeah, there's no counterplay here. I'm piling up behind the on the e file for f5. Rook's going to swing across. Okay, I'll play this. So the rook's going to swing across. Looks pretty crushing. I can afford to let the queen come to h7 if I can move my rook to e8. I'll do that. That's a bit hairy, isn't it? I'm piling up in the centre for f5. So the queen comes to h7, I'll play king f8. Hopefully there isn't a devastating tactic there. But probably knight f5 might be winning. Keep these rooks protected. I think I'm going to have to play f5 at some point. Okay. So rook g3. Okay, Rook G3. Okay, what's the threat here? If F5, knight takes F5 or pawn takes, it's a bit of a problem really. Don't even know what the threat is. Oh, Rook G6 and Queen H8 looks like a threat. Well, the knight's covering G6 at the moment. So F5 again. Oh, I'm going to go for F5. I don't know. Oh, that's probably winning on the spot. Okay, this might be F6 here. There's Queen H8 mating. Okay. I forgot about that. That looks like end of game. Bishop F6. Queen H6. No, it's all gone. Page 8. It's all gone. There's no defence. I have to make a run for it with the king. I could make a run for it with the king. Interesting. There's only 30 seconds to finish me off. Oh, I'm not going to be able to make a run for it. So Queen H8 is the major threat here. I really don't see any defence now, or any way of prolonging the game. It looks like crushing, really crushing, because it is. Yeah. That was good. Well played. Don't usually play the dragon. Now I know why. Play this sharp stuff now. Bishop G5. Dragon Najdorf. That was awful. I'll play this. That's aggressive. So Queen F3, castle queen side, G4, Bishop F6, G5, that sort of thing. So not that horrible poison pawn variation, which this is more fun, I think, than a poison pawn. I'm just gonna castle here, I think. E5, there was Bishop E7, so I'm just gonna castle. So knight E2 No, it's open. There's people in it. There's people in the CCW2 room. 44 people in there. So knight a4. Knight a4. Has got any point to it? Knight a4 decentralizes the knight. Well, knight e2 to g3. This is a big decision now. Knight e2 to g3 or knight a4. Knight a4 could be a target. So like bishop d7 in the future, or knight d7 to b6. So knight e2 has got the advantage of knight g3. G4, knight g3. I like knight e2 to g3. I don't know about knight a4. Say knight a4, queen a5, b3, bishop d7. Shows it's in trouble. Go for knight e2. e5 here, bishop b7. Take on f6, take on f3. It's not worth looking at that anymore. So just g4, I think. Yeah, as long as knight g3 to support e4, because otherwise e4 is collapsing. Support e4, support the centre. Okay, so bishop d3 to make sure I don't get mated on and it supports e4 again. So these guys are supporting e4. And this one, just in case queen c2 is happening, king can escape to a1. Right, so now I can support e4 yet again with the rook. Okay, so everything's supporting e4, every single piece, apart from the rook on d1. Queen is, knight is, bishop is. This knight isn't, I suppose. Okay, situation in the centre, fairly stable. Knight d3 is not yet on c2 because the knight's on c2. So say kicked it, it's not yet back row mate because both rooks are supporting back row. Don't really want, I don't know, bishop f6, bishop f6 doesn't look right. Bishop h4, g5, takes knight h7. That doesn't look good either. I don't know. So if I take bishop f6, if I don't take, I play rook f1. Rook f1. Interesting. Rook f1. Just for f7. Supporting e4 again with a pawn. Cool. So the potential for there's a potential for rook c1. What about knight h5 actually coming up? Okay, I'm on this bishop f6. Gf bishop f6. Knight b3. Queen, say e5. There's d4. Can take that. And there's d4 coming up. Oh, there's queen c2 mating. Whoops. Dear, oh dear. Okay. This line. Burn variation. Okay, so I think bishop b7, I'm going to lose the bishop, so c6. So knight f6. Okay, so knight d7. So queen c7 just castle queen side, right? Queen c7, castle queen side. Obviously castling king side is a bit more dangerous, and I've never done that in this variation. So casting queen side is more fun, I think. Knight e6, they're trying to hack me something with knight e6. Wow, I'm going to really lose a pawn now. Unless there's... Oh, I don't mind losing a pawn. I'll just play for c5. c5 and c4, or c5 and d4, cd4. Alright. Okay. Actually, there's bishop a6 takes queen a8 to consider. I don't think that's possible here. Bishop e4. I don't know. I'm going to play it. There's rook d4. There's rook d4 here. What's wrong with rook d4? Rook d4 doesn't lose on the spot, I think. It shouldn't do. So that's a sort of double pawn swap for a d4 pawn. So I've just got a more important pawn. What's this? That's very, very naughty, materialistic. c5, queen f7. There's no bishop g5 because knight g5 protects the queen. There's no rook h7 because queen h7 is protected by the bishop. So again, there's no bishop g5. So this tactical stuff is working. Or is it? c5, queen f7, rook d3. If a check, I move the king, wouldn't that? Rook d3, I'd take there and then bishop g5. So I think rook d3 and rook h7, bishop g5. Is there anything just easier than that actually? Rook queen f7. I don't think there's anything easier than rook d3, rook h7. Although in that, is there a queen g8? There is no queen g8, just bishop d8. It's a nice little trap. Rook d3, rook h7, bishop g5. Did everyone see that little trap? Please don't say anything on the board, but do people see that trap? Queen f7, rook takes d3 looks good, because a rook takes h7. And if queen h7, there's bishop g5. So queen f7, rook d3, rook d3, rook h7, queen h7, bishop g5, check, winning the queen. Does it work? Probably not. There's queen e8. Oh, queen e8. Looks dangerous. Ah! There's a flaw in the ointment here. There's rook d8. I missed that. Is the exchange up? Oh dear. Throwing a check anyway. And this pawn. Play for bishop d5. Just want to show it. If c4, bishop e4. Well, there's a bit of time pressure anyway. "35 seconds. Oh, so queen f3 here. Trying to get the rook off the back row. I'll just take this one. I'll take that one as well. Okay, munch, munch. Now I get in trouble. Oh dear. It's bishop b7, e5, maybe e5, queen d8. There's rook g7, so e5 might be the best bet. I don't like this queen on a7 particularly. Looks a bit of a disaster. I'll get mated again. That was a tactic gone wrong. Ah. Okay. So move this guy. There's queen a4 here. b3. So e2, a6, queen d1. Back queen d1. Let's check on c5. Right. That does save the position a little bit. Bishop f3 here. No, it's be bishop. Queen can move. d2. It's about bishop e4 here. Interesting. It's bishop c2 here. And I don't know what happens after that. Maybe queen 8, queen d5. That's queen d1. Queen. Queen. What about queen d3? Queen d3. Threatening queen a6. Oh, he queens. That's queen d1 check to win the queen. Oh, that was just yeah. S. I think I'll try this in 5 minutes. This one. I'll try bishop e5. What's the point after knight d4, a6? Just play bishop e2. Okay, maybe not. Playing bishop c4 here. Given that there's no knight on c6. Piece is not moving. Just trying to castle. And it's not castling. What's going on? I'm just trying to castle. I'll just give a pigeonhole bishop. Preparation of d5. So e5, is this always terrible? Not sure it is. The bishop's kind of cut from d4 here. So maybe there's knight e2, g4, knight g3. Knight e2, let's say f6. F6 could be a problem. Sort of weakening the diagonal a little bit. F6. So then knight g3, sort of highlighting e5. Play c3. Queen e2, there's a point of attack. It's knight g5 as well. That can't be that bad with that bishop, it looks quite dangerous. Let's cover this d4 square. So bishop d2, rook a1 doesn't look too bad. This feels more strategic than the other Sicilian game. Okay, so d3 is now a problem though. So bishop b3 or something. Bishop e1. I mean. So knight g5, e5. Got to keep an eye on e5. Okay, let's kick this guy. Where's it going? Aha, can I go to e5 now? Interesting. On h6 now. I could take with the rook here because queen takes, h6 hangs. Take the rook and the advantage. Queen moves somewhere. So rook f1, queen moves somewhere. Say c7. And say bishop h6, bishop h6. Queen f3. There's rook f8. So rook f1, queen moves c7. Bishop f4. Alternatively, there's queen f1. Bishop takes h6 and queen f7. Or queen f4. Don't know actually. Queen f1 to f4 to g5. There might be h4, h5. I'll go for that actually. Mind you, bishop e5 is on g3. Mind you, there's queen h6. I think I'm going to take. Okay, so queen f4 here. So there's rook f8, queen g5. Sort of getting some sort of bind. Where am I? Knight f5, that's okay. King h2, maybe? Play h6, then maybe then I'll take. Simply e5 is weak here. It's a shame, so maybe bishop f6. Swap. Okay, I'm going to take her. Swap this now. C4 is useful. It's a black. Huh? So, okay, knight e2 to f4. Knight loses a piece. King h2. What about king h2 for a sec? I'll take with the bishop. Let's check and that knight f4. That looks good. So e6 is vulnerable. Oh, I got the c5. I think that's position e1. It's strategically decided. Rook c7 just kind of. I don't know. King f3, king g2 and mating that over here first. Ah, okay, he's dropping e6. No, he's not. He's not even dropping e6. How come he's holding everything? That's remarkable. No, he's not. Knight d3 threatens knight f2 mating. Knight d3. Bishop d3, rook c8, rook c1, knight f2 is mate. This is a naughty move. Wow. Really thought that was the end of black. Comes up with that move. It's got f3 check. Interesting. Try and win this pawn over here. Nope, I've messed up big time. What about g4 and h5? This pawn's pretty quick, isn't it? Looks pretty good to me. Yeah, that was pretty intense. Oh, blimey. I wonder how the elephant gambit fares in 5-minute chess. I've never tried it, or have I? I don't think I've tried it much in 5-minute. Surprise weapon. How does it scale up? There's a fear factor. No one's analysed this. It's abandoned by theory. Time advantage. It's even useful for 5-minute chess. Wow. Slightly more aggressive than French defence. Attacking White's pawn. White's e4. Pawn puts White game in the last throws. Breyer. So I'm just attacking that e4 pawn. Okay. So White e5 is probably the best. Not a secret, I did the video on it. Knight e5, probably crushing. Don't know about this. I like this. These pawns are dynamic, dynamism pawns. Can roll forward. Okay, good stuff. So I just take bishop d6 next. Knight e5 is castle. Interesting. Fun factor in 5-minute chess. I think there's some issues here. Bishop on f1. So I guess knight e4 doesn't work. Bishop d8, bishop b4. King can move. That does rook e8. That's knight e. Rook e8. As simple as rook e8, knight d2. Doesn't look that good. Or even bishop b4 and queen d5. It takes. There's knight e4 there. Takes on f6, gf. Doesn't really develop pieces. Bishop b4. Bishop f5. Could just castle queenside next. Actually, bishop b4 does stop castling queenside. Interesting. That's right. Yeah. So queen d5 idea. Okay, so queen d5 stops casting queenside anyway. So knight f6 takes. Oh, that's a good point. I have to find the solutions, I guess. Like rook e8. So there's no queen c4, there's rook e4. There's no check after rook e8. So the knight moves. It's knight d2. Bishop f5. Might be queen c4 there. Interesting. So rook e8 here. I think I'll try rook e8. So say knight d2, bishop f5. Wow. Things are getting a bit hairy. What about knight c6? Knight c6. Right, I'll play this. So attack the queen. And e4. Getting my bits out anyway. Just a piece down. These bits are all on pre. Interesting. I think I'm okay after all this. Bit of fireworks. So I've had to play rook e8. Bishop a2. There's rook d7. Bishop d5. Rook c7. Bishop e4. I think I could just take on a2 to fragment the pawns. Bishop d5 here. Fragment these pawns. Oh, just rook c8, better ending. Looks like a very comfortable rook and pawn ending after all that. Oh, okay, might have to play a check here to get the king e5. Okay, I'll play b5, I think, to stop king c4. This e4 pawn's a bit vulnerable. Aha, right. Okay, so I blundered a bit there. I'll give that pawn back. g3 looks pretty good. Ah. Okay, so that check's important to stop me playing rook g3. Ah. Okay. Ah, now I can shield the pawn with rook g3. Okay, I think it should be a draw here in theory, but 6 seconds is affixed. Yeah. Or am I? It's just a draw. I think I'll just go for a draw. Oh. There's no escape from the. Pawns. Try this again. Tuck the bishop over here. That was wild, wasn't it? That elephant gambit game. I think I mucked up the rook and pawn ending. I must have been better there. That was a bit of a muck up. Play for 92, I think. I was shielding against bishop b2, so 92, trying to evict knight from d4. There's a g4 here. Try and keep black's pawns frozen over here. Queen a5 is harmless, so just ignore it because of rook a1 takes. Doesn't really matter about knight e5 either, I think. Maybe bishop a2. So rook g1, f5 at some point. Rook g1 and f5. Just f5 straight off the bat. Bishop a, blocking my own bishop after b3. No, I think I'm going to play rook g1. It would support a4 if he takes. A4 is dropping anyway. Time for f5. Hack attack time. Queen d2, bishop h6. There's knight f4 to d5 as well. Oh, central problem with fe. Interesting. So I might play f4 here. These pawns are kind of solid. Maybe bishop d4 next. Adapt to this changing pawn structure. Bishop d4, queen d6 as well. It's on the cards. Just knight d4 to b5, knight d4. I like this position actually, because black's e file's blocked, and I've got the d file. What about knight b5 coming up? If that's any good. So queen e7, knight b5. Is that any good? So he takes. There's no d5 just yet. Then I'll play rook ad1, but I'm worried about this b2 pawn. I can't pick up d6 that easily. Okay, I'll play rook g3 here. Take the queen. So knight b5 now. I guess there might be bishop g4. So I could double up rooks first to stop bishop g4. Also f5 is looking good. Just f5 almost like trapping the queen. Ah, rook g5 here is also looking good. There's no queen f3. So I just pick up d5. d5 of a pawn. I can't see too much counterplay. There's f5 on the cards, or maybe just, I don't know, queen g2. Just get the queens off. That was queen e3. That wouldn't be the best move. Maybe just f5. There's bishop e5. Okay. So rook g3, back to the drawing board. f5. Play rook g3, trying to just protect e3 for a moment. Maybe then f5. Is this king really that safe after f5? Well, there's 3 pawns. Maybe knight e6. Something like knight e6. Here rook g5 and knight f5 looks crushing. Rook g5, knight f5. So knight f5, okay, there's a check. One of the rooks moves back. Oh, I'm going to play it. Okay, well, not that rook. There's queen g2 here. It's queen g2 will do the trick, I think. Because otherwise, if this one, then there's queen f5. If this one, that would do as well. Rook g2 would do as well. Probably. But queen g2 looks pretty simple. Take the queen. Bishop's covering c1 anyway. Okay. Let's take on g7 there. Play check. I think just rook f1 or even rook f5. Or just rook g3, even simpler. Rook g3. So I'm on f6 and f2. Okay. I'll try that elephant gambit again. I think f5 is probably an interesting move. In fact, this queen d5 business, bishop b4 might actually be good here. Bishop b4 is queen b5. So then knight e6 takes. There's nothing there. Or is there? Bishop c3 takes, check. Bishop d7 takes, winning the queen. I mean, winning the rook, queening. It's bishop f5, queen b5, knight d7. What about bishop f5, just off of b7? Bishop f5, interesting. So queen b5, knight d7, otherwise bishop d6, knight d7, look forwards castle. Just g6 here, or bishop g4. Bishop g4, there's f3. Let me just g6. So f3, knight bishop c5, check, knight d7. This one to d7 to protect z5. Okay, what about bishop e7 or bishop g7? Probably bishop e7, yeah, to avoid a pin. So if I can castle, interesting. So, right, I lose f5. Okay, what about king e7 here for bishop c3? King e7, queen f5, bishop c3. I think that's better than another pin on the bishop. Well, this avoids queen e6 mate. Protecting e6 square is important. So queen e4, king f7. How many pawns am I down? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 3 pawns down there. Queen e6 would be 2 pawns up, but these are double pawns. Maybe it's not so clear. So it's knight e5, that's a nice knight on e5. Okay, so I'm winning another pawn. Okay. All my pawns are going. But I'm going to get one of them back. Surely. I'll get c3 back. Okay. Some sort of mobility going on here. That might not be the case now. Okay, so it's my king defending these pawns over there. Doesn't look too hot, really. I think I'll play b4. Yep. Ooh, here over here over here. Spotted a little plan, but bishop b3, a4. Probably shouldn't lose that one as well. Bit of a blockade going on dark squares. Okay. Is that the fat lady singing in the background? Just not yet. So, right. Okay. So knight, check. Doesn't do anything. Does it? Does it? Does knight f4 to try and win h5? Probably not. It's knight c3 here. It's king b6 and a4. Interesting. It's definitely looking very, very promising for white now. So a3 here is another passed pawn on the way. Okay. That looks like end of game there. I'm just going to stop the recording here because I need to go to the loo actually.